This is Concacaf Video Signals, a Monday, March 30th edition. Today on Video Signals, Saturday saw Mexico return to winning ways in World Cup qualifying, while the other two final round tilts were fit to be tied. We'll take a look at all the action from the weekend and gaze ahead to Wednesday's Match Day 3. We'll go on a trip around the Confederation and finish the program with the always popular CONCACAF quiz. Let's get right to it. We start with the final round of CONCACAF World Cup qualifying, Match Day 2, where the action was hot and heavy and the fans' support was simply awesome. Mexico's 4-game winless streak in World Cup qualifying came to an end as goals from Omar Bravo and Pavel Pardo lifted El Tri to a 2-0 win over Costa Rica. The victory before a packed Estadio Azteca was Mexico's first in qualifying since a 2-1 triumph over Canada on September 10th of last year. The result also ended Costa Rica's 8-game winning streak in qualifying, and it was its first loss in 9 games since qualifying began. It left both teams with 3 points after 2 of 10 matches in final round of CONCACAF qualifying. Defender Frankie Hayduck scored off a header from 3 yards out in the 88th minute as the United States came from 2 goals down to tie El Salvador 2-2 in a wild match at Estadio Cuscatlán in San Salvador. Firmly in control, the home side took the lead in the 15th minute through Eliseo Quintanilla, his 5th goal of qualifying. Cristian Castillo doubled the advantage with his first in the 72nd minute. Los Cuscatlecos, though, were forced to change goalkeepers after starter Miguel Montes went down for the second time with cramps in his legs. 2 minutes after reserve goalkeeper Juan Jose Gomez came on, the U.S. struck for the first time in the 77th minute on Josie Altidor's second goal of the competition off a cross from Frankie Hayduck. 11 minutes later, Hayduck completed his heroic play by scoring his second ever World Cup qualifying goal, his first in 12 years, by placing a header between 2 defenders from 3 yards out. Kaleem Highland scored a dramatic 89th minute equalizer to salvage a 1-1 draw for Trinidad and Tobago with Honduras at the Hazley Crawford Stadium in Port of Spain. The result was a reversal of fortune for the Soca Warriors from their last qualifier, when they squandered a 2-goal lead in the final 8 minutes, including an equalizer in injury time, to settle for a 2-2 draw at El Salvador. Honduras appeared headed for victory after 35-year-old Carlos Pavón scored in the 51st minute. Pavón was making his first appearance in qualifying for the 2010 World Cup. A look at the table after 2 games shows the USA holding sole possession of first place, with Mexico and Costa Rica lurking 1 point behind. El Salvador and Trinidad have 2 points each, while Honduras is in last with 1. Match Day 3 is on Wednesday with 3 more intriguing games. The USA welcomes Trinidad and Tobago to LP Field in Nashville, Tennessee. Mexico travels to San Pedro Sula to meet Honduras, while Costa Rica hosts El Salvador at the Estadio Ricardo Saprissa in San Jose. Video Signals will preview 1 match each day leading up to Wednesday, starting with Costa Rica and El Salvador. Costa Rica holds a 4-4-2 all-time advantage over El Salvador in World Cup qualifying. The last time they met in a qualifier was on November 19, 2008 in San Salvador, a 3-1 win for the visitors, who got 2 goals from Roy Mairi. The Ticos have never lost to El Salvador in a home qualifier. Costa Rica lost its first 2010 WCQ on Saturday at Mexico, but still possess an impressive 8-1-1 overall tournament record. The Ticos are a perfect 5-0-0 at home, where they average 3 goals per game and have not conceded a single goal. El Salvador's tournament record stands at 6-3-3 after Saturday's tie with the United States. Los Cuscatlecos are 2-1-2 in away WCQs and have been shut out 3 times. Conversely, they have not allowed a goal in 3 away games as well. Tomorrow, Video Signals will preview the USA and Trinidad and Tobago. In news from around the Confederation, first leg second-round action continued yesterday in the CFU Club Champions Cup, the Caribbean's qualifying competition for the 2009-2010 CONCACAF Champions League. The Green Bay Hoppers of Antigua defeated visiting Sevilla FC of Puerto Rico 2-0 to advance to the second round 5-3 on aggregate. Tamerlee Thomas and Kelly Frederick scored for the winners. Green Bay awaits the winner of the Tempete FC Alpha United series to find out their second-round opponent. In the day's other game, SA Cavali of Haiti won at Aruba's SV Britannia 1-0 to advance to the second round on a 6-0 aggregate score. Valdo Normil scored the winner for Cavali, who will face W Connection of Trinidad and Tobago. The U.S. Under-17 men's national team rounded out their schedule of international friendlies in Buenos Aires on Friday with a 3-1 loss to Uruguay. Sebastian Leggett scored the lone goal for the United States, which finishes the foreign training camp with a win and 2 losses against South American teams. And that completes our brief trip around the Confederation. Now it is time for today's Concacaf quiz. On Friday, we asked if you could guess the name of the player who was the only one to appear in every minute of every Mexican World Cup qualifier for South Africa 2010. Thanks to everyone who responded. The correct answer is Osvaldo Sanchez. The Santos goalkeeper streak came to an end on Saturday, though, against Costa Rica, as Club America's Guillermo Ochoa started against the Ticos. For today's question, we go to the El Salvador national team. On Saturday, El Salvador scored against the U.S. for the first time since November 16, 1997, a 4-2 win for the Americans. The same player scored both goals for El Salvador that day. Can you name him? If you think you know the answer, please send an email to VideoSignals@concacaf.org before 12 p.m. New York time tomorrow. Those answering correctly will have their names placed into a weekly contest, where the winner will receive a CONCACAF prize. The draw for this week's contest was conducted earlier today, and the winner has been notified. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for joining us at Video Signals, your source for CONCACAF news.